Hello everyone. For today we are demonstrating how to generate a three-dimensional hook, and the main technique used here is by lofting. So to outline what is needed, lofting requires a number of sketches which are lofted together according to some guidelines. So in this case, the first lofting part is here, and the sketches involved is that's the first sketch, circle, the second sketch, and third sketch, fourth sketch, and also the guiding line, that is the left hand side guiding lines, and that is the right hand side guiding lines. And once this is completed, then the next loft is followed. So this one also has its own sketches. That the first sketch is a circle, second sketch is also a circle, and the guiding line is here. And finally, on top of that, you add a dome, a spherical shape or 3D, and finally a bus extrusion for the threaded part before we go to the detail. Okay, so to get this one started, we start a fresh 3D part. I strongly suggest you use a snip tool or similar to grab the drawing dimensions into the clipboard, and instead of going back and forth with that sketch, just have this one paste as a guideline here, so that becomes very handy. Without leaving the full screen SolidWorks, you can proceed the steps one by one. So if you go back to the hook, we start with this circle first, and then with the guidelines, we just finish the guidelines needed right and left for the first loft. But it's important to just note that this guiding curve is one line, one curve, one line, one curve, and another curve. So on the right hand side, you have one line, one segment, an arc, line, and arc. Just with our own drawing, let's have the first sketch needed for the lofting on the top plane. So you just make a sketch here, and from the center of the coordinate you draw a circle, and then the dimension for this circle is 52 diameter. So to prevent this one from changing, we freeze it to 52, and let's finish that sketch. Now we continue with the guidelines before we generate the other sketches. So the guideline, I want this to be generated in the front plane, that's perpendicular to the first curve. So this is the starting point, and let's have a few reference lines as a hidden line or center line. So horizontal, vertical, and one horizontal center line. Now we want to make one line, arc, one line, and one arc. So if you want to do this without exchanging the tools, you start this by hand-free vertical line. And if you don't want to leave this one, just pull the cursor away and bring it back again to here, and this time when you pull it, it changes to a curve. And now the next, it goes back to the line. That's okay. And so just you want another arc, so bring this back here and pull it. So slowly bring that to here, and then you can, this is line again, you just bring it back, pull it one more time, and that brings this to here. Now this was all hand-free. Now we want to add constraints and dimensions to make it specific. So first thing, the distance between that line and here, it should be set to 220. Vertical 220. And then I want the center of this arc, which is here, to be coincide with this line here. So holding that one, so get rid of the dimension mode. Okay. Press escape. Now selecting this one, holding the shift, selecting that curve, and not that curve. You want that point, center of the arc, and this center line selected together. Now you make them coincide. Alright, so the starting point of this line, I want that to be starting at this quarter. So one way of doing that, while this sketch is in edit mode, you select that point, hold the shift, select the sketch from here, and now if you make them pierce, that brings the point exactly pierced at the quarter here. Right, so approve this one. Now also you want the radius of this arc to be 94. Make it 94. Make sure this is the radius, not the diameter. Okay, and you want the center of this arc to be 138 from the center. So you just grab this in the dimension mode with here, make it 138. And this radius has to be 45. Okay, 45. And the starting point between these two segments are tangent. So here I just click that point, right click, and make that tangent. Alright, so now it seems we made the portion of this guideline, and with the right hand side curve, so the distance from that center to here, that is 11 plus 35 plus 36. Okay, so let's grab the center of at the dimension between this center and here, and making this 11 plus 35 plus 36. 11 plus 35 plus 36. Now I have this point located in the right position, and alright, so let's make sure this distance is 11. Just with a smart dimension you can check this and that line. Again, go to the smart dimension, this point and that line. Oh, that should be 11. And also you want that radius to be 82. Well, it seems that radius is we have to remove that tangent relationship here. That tangent relationship is making the problem overdefined, so selecting this one and removing. So that condition is gone. Now you can add the radius for that as (82). Add a smart dimension, make it 82. Now we go with the the right hand side sketch or guideline, and that right hand side, if we can make this a separate sketch, that's good, but that separate sketch is sitting in the front plane, so you make a sketch for the right guideline. And again, this one starts from here, coming down, and make this one arc, and make it a line, and make this an arc. All right. So you want the center of this circle to be at the this intersection. So that intersection is not a point which you can select. So maybe for now I would just trim that line here. Well, that line doesn't belong to this sketch. Maybe what I do is just put a point, and this point being selected, you make this coincide, it comes over here, and the very same point coincide with this line. Okay, now you have a point, this sketch belonging to this sketch, so that point selected together with this center, both of them you want them to be coincide, so that brings the center of circle here, and the diameter for that is 70. So we go to the smart dimension and making that one 35, which makes it 35. Right, so this is diameter of 70, as you expect, that arc should have a radius of 125. Make it 125. And just click to find out the center. This is the center. According to here, the center of this arc should be 7 mil below the center of the other arc. So I am just picking this one, bring this down, right, manually before I add a dimension. So the center of the other arc is here. So now you add a dimension that with this. So make this 7. Now this is 7. And if I bring this line a bit, well, the starting point of this sketch should be coincide with that quarter. So this is one condition you have to add. And just by picking this point, holding the shift, selecting that curve here, now you can make them pierced. That brings your sketch to the right position. Alright, so now all you have to do is just make this end is already tangent, the other end you want to make a tangent. So hold right click and make a tangent relationship. So that is here, and that point I want that to sit on this reference line. So just select on the shift this line and make them coincide. So that brings this to here. And alright, so it looks like we have done the second guideline. Just making sure the distance between these two ends should be 36. I'm not adding the dimension, just to make sure they're in the right position. Here, 36, that's correct. I just don't add it, otherwise that would be already fine. And right, so now we can exit that sketch. And so far we have done the first lofting sketch here, the left guidelines and the right guidelines, so each of which belong to a separate sketch. The next step is to make the second sketch for lofting, which is shown as a section AA that should go between here and there. First, to make that sketch, I need a plane. Reference geometry is the plane, and that plane is parallel to the top plane, parallel, and the second reference is coincide with that line here. Now you have the sketch plane. Let's making that cross section right on here. Alright, so nothing selected. You go to convert entities, and if I click that line which belongs to other sketch, now I'm borrowing this one, but I don't need that relationship to come with it. Either I click this one, delete, or I go to the display, delete relationship and remove it. And now that this is being free, I mean still on the same plane, you pick the starting point, hold the shift, and that guiding line, make these pierce is applied. And now you pick the end, hold the shift and the right guideline and make them pierce. Perfect. Now we have a center line which is starting at the right curve, ending at this side, and I just make this one change to not a line. We want this to be a construction line. Alright, so first just do a inclined line with respect to that, and have this one mirrored with respect to your line of symmetry here, not here, line of symmetry here. Next, I want a arc, 3-point arc, starting from here, ending here. Exactly, it should have its well, let me see if I can enforce that later, because I want the midpoint of that sketch. So the midpoint of this sketch is here, and that being selected, it should be coincide with that. Alright, now we have it in the right spot. Likewise, you need a 3-point arc here, here. Let's make it hand free first, and then that midpoint, you have to select that midpoint. Midpoint being selected, hold the shift, and now you select this point and make them coincide. Right. Next, we add the radius of 140 to the right, 70 to the left. Radius of 70 for the left and 140 for the right. And that is too wide, and you manually can make this shorter and also this one shorter. Right, now we can add a fillet of 10. And just okay, now we got the second lofting sketch completed, and we want all these lofting sketches to be on a separate independent sketches. And next I need one more lofting, it's the third one. First, second, the third one I want to generate, and the third one is sitting on the right plane. So let's make a sketch here. Okay, so I go to the right plane and make a new sketch. So this is my new sketch. Likewise, you want to convert entities, that reference line here, but this, you don't want this relationship to remain. Just remove that relationship, and now that line could be have its beginning and end adjusted. So I would take that point, holding the shift, and So let's close this not display again, picking this point, holding the shift and that guiding curve and make them pierce. So same thing with the starting point. So that is starting point selected together with holding the shift, right hand side, make them pierce. Perfect. Just let's make that a construction line. And now we have this from here to there, and all you have to do is just make 58. So first I make a incline line here and have this one mirrored with respect to the symmetry line here. Then you add a 3-point arc. Start here and here, there, and you want this center point selected together with this starting point, and they should coincide. Now let me just dress this manually. Okay. And next, maybe that is too wide. Right. Another 3-point curve, start and freehand. So now with this freehand, you pick the center line, hold the shift and grab this line and make them coincide. Alright, so let's just make this a bit narrower and we want to add a fillet of 10 to these corners. Last thing is you have to adjust 58 as the radius of these two arcs. So add a smart dimension 58 here. Was it 58? Let's check. Yes, 58. And also the other curve. Radius of 58. Alright, so then you want to adjust the width. The width for the lower part is 34.5. And the width for upper parts that is 55. the only problem is this one is twisted. Right, I just had that twist reversed. Now we have 34, and it looks like that sketch, this is the third lofting sketch, is complete. The fourth lofting sketch is simple. You have to construct it on this plane, and likewise again you convert entities, that line, remove the relationship, and then have the starting point selected together with the right hand side curve guide. No, this is not the right dialog. Do it again. The starting point, shift right, and make them pierced. So endpoint, select, hold the shift, right guideline, make them pierced. Now we have the diameter of the fourth lofting sketch, and with that all we need is just to make a circle like so, and that is correct. The radius is 18, diameter 36 as you expected. Alright, so now we should be able to proceed with the first lofting. The first lofting, you go to, make sure nothing is selected, go to Loft Boss, and I'm selecting the left hand side part of this first sketch. It goes to the list, and then left hand side of the second lofting sketch, and this is listed. The left hand side of the third lofting sketch, and the left hand side of the fourth lofting sketch. Okay, this is asking me whether you want to select the circle or open, so I won't select this one. This is good, except it is not following the guideline. So in the guideline you go and select, you can even go to the tree and find out, yeah, this is the right guideline, and for the, this is left guideline, for the right guideline, that is here. Alright, great. We managed to get this one right. That is the first lofting completed. Now we start with the last lofting, the second one. For that I need to generate a sketch on a front plane, and according to here there are two arcs, one from here, one from there. These are the guidelines. So let's just do some hand-free three-point curves. So we're starting from here, ending here, midpoint right there, and let's make the radius equal to 125. And that should have its center below that line here. So currently this is above. I just pull this one down and then add a dimension to it. It has to be 34.5 down. likewise with the ray 3-point curve starting from here, ending over there, and right. So the radius is 125. And also the center should be coincide with that horizontal line. So pick the center, hold the shift, and it should be coincide with it. Well, one way of doing this is just make the dimension 0, the distance 0 between here and here, make the distance 0. Alright, so these two curves are over there, and I would make this line roughly here, make a 3-point curve, start here and there, like that, and we just want that to have a radius of 10, or the distance between here and there, make it 20. So the way to indicate the dimension tangent to the top is making these two tangent and then adding a dimension of 50 from that reference here. So, if we can make that point tangent, that one we can add tangent to the other one, only one of them can be tangent. Right, so with this sketch, the next thing is I make a center line on this point, and then construct the plane on this last line. So having this selected, you insert a plane which is coincide with that also as a second reference, normal to the front plane. And here you make a sketch. Sketch starts from the center and you make the end point of this with that circle to coincide, and the end point of this with that one 25. This is not correct. Let's do it again. Make a circle from the center to here. Alright, so now we go back to this sketch. I'm going to edit mode, and so that starting point has to be pierced with the first lofting sketch, and also this point has to be pierced with that guy. Alright, so now let's see if we can make the second loft. It should start from here, from this sketch, and same side of the second sketch to prevent from twisting. And as a guideline, you pick this line here. And could have made the guidelines separate sketches to get a better follow through here, but that's fine for now. The last part of this is the tip, which we simply do it by inserting a feature and dome. So the dome is using that here. So to make a dome, I need a separate sketch in the front plane, and for that, just make a 3-point arc from that point here, this point here, make a 3-point arc from here, here, and make the radius equal to radius of 10. Okay, radius of 10, and final, that is you insert a dome feature and dome. Yep. So now we created the final dome to top of it, and just the threaded part, you would need a sketch and a circle with a diameter of 42 and 3. Which has to be extruded by 70 millimeter high. chamfer is simple. Just choose that edge for the chamfer, and the size of the chamfer is 4 mm, and that's 45 degrees. Alright, and to show that cosmetic thread, you go to a threads, and so this edge is what you have to select, and then this is going to be blind and 60 mil. 60 mil. A metric die, and make this one 42. by 3, and then apply. Alright, so this is, you have to make the cosmetic thing visible to see that, and yeah, that was a demonstration for lofting. So just we started making one circular sketch here, one rectangular here, third rectangular, and fourth circular, and then this was lofted through guide curve left side, guide curve right side, and then next was a second loft which composed of a circular starting sketch, a circular ending sketch, and a guiding line. On top of that, we constructed a dome, spherical dome, and at the fixation side, we extruded a cylindrical part of 70 mil high, and then added a chamfer, added a thread according to the specification given here. I hope you find this long video useful, and thanks for watching the video. Bye for now.